Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Conspiracy Theories and Secret Societies for Dummies by Christopher Hodop and Alice von Kannon. Narrated by Chris Sorensen. Introduction. Napoleon said, "What is history but a fable agreed upon?" Of course, what nobody seems to remember is that Napoleon said a whole bunch of really questionable things. What's wrong with it is that it implies that history is just a matter of opinion. Entering the world of conspiracy theories and secret societies is like stepping into another dimension, a distant parallel alternate universe where the images, words, and names that surround you are vaguely familiar, but where the laws of physics have completely changed. Black means white, up is down, do-gooders are really Beelzebub's satanic water boys, and the world seems to be viewed through a giant funhouse mirror. We stepped into this alternate universe while Chris was working on Freemasons for Dummies, Wiley. In the alternate universe of conspiracy theories, the fraternity that he wrote about bore no resemblance whatsoever to the version found in stacks of conspiracy books and endless internet information of anti-Masonic accusations. Our exploration of the world of conspiracies and secret societies after working on the book about Freemasons led to extended discussions with Wiley's For Dummies folks, and the proposal for this book grew and grew as our research became more extensive. Researching a book about conspiracy theories and secret societies is a frustrating experience, most notably because it's all supposed to be a secret. But it's a balancing act as well. Too little skepticism risks falling down Lewis Carroll's rabbit hole into a twisted wonderland of circular logic, but too much skepticism risks overlooking something critical that may become tomorrow's tragic headline. We talk a lot in this book about secretive and suspicious groups that are at the center of conspiracy theories around the world, but we also let you know what you can do to spot truly malevolent secret societies and tell the real conspiracies from the fakes. About this book. For the millions of people who are true believers in their own favorite conspiracy theories, the type of information we cover in this book is all very important. Of course, we feel that the material is important, but you don't have to listen to it in order. This book is intended to be a reference for you, so you don't need to listen to the chapters in order, even though we suggest it. So, if you want to hear about all the secret societies before you hear about the conspiracy theories or vice versa, that's fine with us. It's all interesting stuff. Moreover, just because you may not believe the overwhelming majority of the conspiracies cited in this book, it doesn't make them all wrong. There have been real conspiracies in the world as well as real secret societies that were seeking to accomplish real evil, or amass power, or money, or both. We try to separate fluff, fear, and fantasy from the facts, and we endeavor to present them with a minimum of personal commentary so you can decide for yourself. But there's a much more vital reason we've come to feel this book is important, and it's not because we believe the world is about to end in an ultimate showdown between the forces of good and evil. No, it's a lot simpler than that. It's a question of what can happen when the lit match of a fiery professional conspiracist touches off the powder keg of a susceptible believer. What you're not to hear. This is a reference book, which means no one is going to whack your hands with a ruler if they catch you skipping ahead. Foolish assumptions. We don't know most of you, but we make a few assumptions about you and why you chose this book. You're confused and you want the unvarnished scoop on secret societies and conspiracy theories. You've watched the History Channel documentaries on codes, conspiracies, and secret societies until your eyes have swollen shut. This book puts it all together for you. It gives you the tools to tell the difference between the big players, the small fries, the truly scary stuff, and the piles of pernicious piffle. you're a complete skeptic. All the rumors about the Illuminati, UFOs, and underground government bunkers beneath the Denver airport strike you as balderdash from a weak X-Files episode. We separate fact from fiction and let you know when to really put on your tinfoil helmet. You're a true believer. You just know that at any minute black helicopters are going to land on your lawn and the men in black will bash down your door. We're here to help you sort through all the conspiracies. We'll help you come to grips with what's real, what's made up, who made it up, and why. You're a member of what the rest of the world calls a secret society, and you want to know why everyone is talking behind your back. Does everybody shut up when you walk into the room? Is your daughter asking why people on the internet claim you're the spawn of Satan? We examine the origins of secret societies and the more benign groups that have become the major suspects in the New World Order. How this book is organized. We're about to tell you all the important stuff about the way this book is laid out. It's chopped up into 4 neatly packaged parts, and you can listen to them in any order. Part 1. Conspiracy Theories and Secret Societies. The improbable wedded to the inscrutable. About 99.9% of all respectable conspiracy theories are tied hand and foot to some sort of secret society or organization. This part lays out easy-to-understand models with no cryptic double talk about all the theys out there and all the dark conspiracies behind them. Chapter 1 is a great overview of the world of conspiracies and secret societies, while Chapters 2 and 3 get down to the nuts and bolts of defining and identifying them. Part 2. A colossal compilation of conspiracy theories. This part covers the best and the brightest in terms of conspiracy theories, from the sublime to the ridiculous. Chapter 4 discusses some of the most common theories, the conspiracies so secret that everybody knows about them. Chapter 5 is the hit parade of, well, hits. Conspiracies related to famous assassinations. Chapter 6 covers the range of race, genocide, and apocalyptic doom, just to bring a little cheerlessness to your humdrum life. Chapter 7 covers conspiracies not of this earth, from Roswell to the moon landing hoaxes. And finally, Chapter 8 covers the unsettling growth of the ever wilder 9/11 conspiracies. Part 3. Secret Societies and Societies with Secrets. You can't tell the players without a program. This part exposes the major secret societies of the last century and a half, the ones that still haunt every conspiracist cubbyhole in the bookstore and on the internet. Chapter 9 discusses the Freemasons, the world's least-kept secret society, and Chapter 10 ventures into the world of Rosicrucian and occult groups, while Chapter 11 explores the origin and modern incarnations of the Illuminati. Chapter 12 delves into the tales of secret societies of assassins like the, well, assassins, along with the Invisible Empire, the Ku Klux Klan, and other hate groups. In Chapter 13, you'll find a gallery of both frivolous and frightening secret societies, from the golden age of fraternalism and college groups to a lineup of military and revolutionary cabals. And Chapter 14 rounds out the list with the criminal underground and the godfather of all secret societies, the Mafia. Part 4. The Part of Tens. A For Dummies book wouldn't feel right without the Part of Tens. Chapters divided into quaint lists of 10 items of importance. In this part, we serve you 10 conspiracy theories that skirted the edge of madness, 10 conspiracy theories that really turned out to be true, 10 secret societies with the goofiest names, and 10 of the drop-dead weirdest secret societies of all time. Icons used in this book. Throughout this book, there are icons. They're there to help you navigate the conspiracies, conspiracists, and conspiratorial plots. Ask the Unseen Master. This icon indicates little known or unusual information or facts that were originally kept secret. Consider the info in these icons to come from a legendary group or inner circle of an all-seeing, all-knowing master within any number of secret societies. Think of him as the Mr. Know-It-All on all things secret or conspiratorial. Remember, this icon marks key points that are vital to understanding truly important topics. Don't skip them. Technical stuff. This icon highlights stuff like additional data or side trips with more detail than you may be interested in. Tip: this icon gives you handy tidbits and helpful advice. Conspiracy alert. This book stinks with conspiracies. It's loaded with them. They're all over the place. This icon points out ones that are the bedrock of conspiracy thinking. Either the most important allegations, the best known, or in some cases the most ridiculous. Where to go from here? The best part for a For Dummies book is that you can start at page 1, or you can go all the way to the part of tens and listen to the book backwards. So start with any chapter you want. Each chapter and section is pretty much self-contained, and if we think there's stuff you should have heard about in order, we warn you and cross-reference other chapters as those instances pop up. A For Dummies book isn't supposed to be the last book you pick up on a subject. It should be the first. But we hope that what you ultimately say about this book is that we've lifted the veil on topics you may have only vaguely heard of and presented you with enough facts to make up your own mind, or to study further, or to just creep out your relatives. Part 1. Conspiracy Theories and Secret Societies. The improbable wedded to the inscrutable. In this part, about 99.9% of all respectable conspiracy theories are tied hand and foot to some sort of secret society or organization. This secret society or organization is the they, as in, they hid the wrecked alien spacecraft in Roswell in 1947. This section lays out easy-to-understand models with no cryptic double talk about all the theys out there and all the dark conspiracies behind them. Chapter 1. Everything you know is wrong. In this chapter, Believing the Unbelievable. The Age of Conspiracy Theories and Secret Societies. Figuring out what's worth believing. Touring the world one conspiracy at a time. Journalist H.L. Mencken once said, "The most costly of all follies is to believe passionately in the palpably not true. It is the chief occupation of mankind." A conspiracy theory is the idea that someone or a group of someones act secretly with the goal of achieving power, wealth, influence, or other benefit. It can be as small as two petty thugs conspiring to stick up a liquor store, or as big as a group of revolutionaries conspiring to take over their country's government. Individuals, corporations, churches, politicians, military leaders, and entire governments can all be conspirators in plots as evil as secretly developing nuclear weapons, as creepy as smuggling stolen human transplant organs, or as annoying as cornering the market on neighborhood $4 coffee joints. The conspiracy theory is absolutely inseparable from the secret society. They go together like Minneapolis and St. Paul. Face it, everyone hates secrets. You didn't like it when the kids kept secrets from you in gym class, and you've never gotten over it. Neither have we. Secret societies are the repositories of the hidden knowledge that spins the conspiracy theory. But the term secret society covers a lot of ground. Everything from college fraternities to the lodge your grandpa belonged to the lesser-known, powerful groups that stay out of the eyes of the press, like the Bilderbergers, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the legendary Illuminati, if they really exist at all. This chapter begins the process of teaching you how to tell the truth from the manure, at least where conspiracy theories and secret societies are concerned. Throughout this book, we also set out to simplify what at least sounds staggeringly confusing. We clarify conspiracy theories that are coming at you from all sides nowadays on everything from the Mafia running the Vatican to aliens landing in New Mexico. Or is it the aliens in the Vatican and the Mafia in New Jersey? Consider this chapter your warm-up exercise. Living in the age of conspiracy theories and secret societies. The popularity of the conspiracy theory as a way of explaining society and world events is a pretty recent phenomena, a product of the time since the French Revolution of 1789, which was the first real marriage of paranoia and the printing press. But it's just within the last 40 years that the philosophy of conspiracism has become like a wall of noise, an assault on the collective consciousness, and the most common way to explain complex world events. In many respects, conspiracies are a way of simplifying history into good and bad, right and wrong. A conspiracy theory is a way of looking at a single event and postulating that maybe there's a lot more to it than can be seen on the surface, with darker forces behind the whole thing. Conspiracism expands on this, becoming an entire philosophy as a way of viewing the world. For the professional conspiracist, a person who studies the conspiracies, there isn't much going on in the world that doesn't have darker forces behind it, from the price of a gallon of gasoline to the 3 ounces of hand lotion you can't ever seem to extract from the bottom of a 16-ounce bottle. Of course, in a way, even the term conspiracism is too respectable to apply to much of what is floating around the internet and the tabloids these days. Since the middle of the last century, academic, postmodernist researchers have found it fashionable to refer to all psychological states and moods in German. It's a Sigmund Freud thing. Author Tom Burnett in the Conspiracy Encyclopedia, 2005, Chamberlain Brothers, points out that the Germans have a great term, Verschwörungsmythos, which means conspiracy myth, and in many ways it has lots to recommend it as a descriptive label. Perhaps the conspiracy world is an updated version of ancient myths, Burnett says, where monsters and the gods of Olympus and Valhalla have been replaced by aliens and the Illuminati of Washington and Buckingham Palace. In other words, the new wave of jitters over conspiracies and secret societies has beaten up the zeitgeist with their Weltschmerz over Weltpolitik. The spirit of our times has had the crap kicked out of it by anxiety over global domination. See, we can do the German thing too. Gesundheit. What makes the study of conspiracy theories and secret societies unusual is, when boiled down to their most common elements, the overwhelming majority have grown or been adapted from the same few original sources. Historian Daniel Pipes has said that almost all conspiracy theories have as their origin the same 2 boogeymen, Jews and secret societies, most notably the Freemasons. They have simply been recycled and renamed again and again as events have transpired over the last 250 years. For example, if you take almost any conspiracy about the Jews from the 19th century and erase Jews and substitute military-industrial complex or neocons, you find that very same theory in dozens of books and on hundreds of websites about the sinister forces behind the 9/11 conspiracy. In many ways, it shows a criminal lack of originality. On the other hand, conspiracists would claim plots around the world and the evildoers who engage in them haven't changed much over the centuries. They've only gotten more ambitious. What's worth scrutinizing and what's not? Between books, the internet, and cable television, the average American comes into contact with a lot of ideas that are no longer sifted through established media. A bigger and bigger chunk of these ideas challenges the status quo, the beliefs of stodgy academics and of society in general. Such thoughts also assert that organizations, from the government to the Illuminati, see Chapter 11, are in cahoots to make sure that no one yet knows the truth. But just because an appealing idea comes from the alternative media instead of the mouths of TV anchors or White House spokesmen doesn't always make it true. Tip: as professional conspiracists write book after book, raking in the money faster than they can count it, most care very little about the confusion and fear they leave behind. Internet webmeisters who peddle this stuff care even less. But we care about it a lot. Don't fear. You can acquire the skills you need to digest it all and discern the information. In Chapter 2, in particular, we help you decide between information that's worth paying attention to and information you should ignore, and why. Connecting the dots. There's a very important point about exploring conspiracy theories. It is not enough to just lay out facts or events like dots on a page and scream aha at the mere fact, for example, that over 100 people involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy are dead. Involved often meaning as little as they were standing in the crowd in Dallas. It's been almost 40 years, and of the thousands of people peripherally involved in the case, it's not a big shock for more than 100 of them to have died. Now, if 75 of them had been wrapped in plastic and duct tape and dumped into a Dallas reservoir, you might have something. Remember, the point we are making is that a box full of random dots is meaningless. To be a true theory worth considering, the dots have to be connected. And to be taken seriously, a conspiracy theory has to connect those dots convincingly and with some irrefutable proof. Remember, Benjamin Franklin once said, 3 may keep a secret when 2 are dead. When you're confronted by a conspiracy that requires the military or the government or literally thousands of covert insiders around the world to keep a very big secret for tens or hundreds of years, and just one lone courageous warrior steps forward with an outlandish tale that no one else backs up, it's your time to turn on your alarm system again. Courage could be vanity, and honesty merely accusation or sour grapes or revenge. What is proof? Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 14, 1865. Since about 24 hours afterwards, the world has been trying to find out the details about the conspiracy behind it. And there was a conspiracy. For more on that, see Chapter 5. Interest in the plot has come and gone over the years, most recently in the 2007 film National Treasure 2, The Book of Secrets, which prominently featured the discovery of the missing pages of assassin John Wilkes Booth's diary. And there really are missing pages. Historians just aren't sure why. One of the hundreds of books we consulted during this project was a bit nostalgic. The Lincoln Conspiracy, Schick Sun Classic Books by David Balsiger and Charles E. Sellier. This book was parent to the Sun Classic film of the same name that did remarkably well in theaters in 1977. Like most conspiracy books, The Lincoln Conspiracy has many footnotes and an impressive long bibliography, but also, like most conspiracy literature, it's a circular citing process, with conspiracists endlessly referring to one another's work. See Chapter 2 for more on this phenomenon. Despite their abundant cribbing from an earlier conspiracist work from the 1930s by an Austrian chemist named Otto Eissenschimmel, the authors claimed to be the only investigators in history who'd ever gotten the story of Lincoln's assassination right. They also seem to have connected with an amazing number of documents to back up their version of events, papers, and diaries that had slipped past mere mortal historians. The book's opening pages were touting these various miraculous discoveries, as well as the severe scientific methodology they had put to use in their quest. They claimed this was especially true of their discovery of the missing pages of Booth's diary, a set of documents worth up to $1 million. Wow! But when you read on carefully, you come across the following astonishing statement. The authors acquired a full transcript of the contents of the missing pages and had the contents evaluated by historical experts, but have not been able to acquire copies of the actual pages to authenticate the handwriting. What these guys are saying is that they haven't even seen copies of the actual $1 million diary pages on which they've built just about the entire thesis of their book. It is this typical amateur detective work backed up with hearsay, innuendo, and rumor that makes so many conspiracists so hard to take seriously. Being skeptical about speculative thinking. Most theories, from the Kennedy assassination to Jesus having a wife books, share the title of alternative histories or speculative works. The word speculative is the key point here, because once people start speculating, it becomes your job to a great degree to speculate as well. For example, in the mental gymnastics of the folks who love to tell you that ancient space aliens were responsible for the Egyptian Sphinx, or that the huge carvings called the Nazca Lines in Peru had to have been done by someone able to fly over the countryside, there's just a wisp of contempt for that most amazing of all tools, the human mind. There's an attitude that ancient man was just too, well, primitive, for primitive read stupid, to have been able to build something on that scale. The same sort of speculative thinking goes into more modern creations like crop circles. See Chapter 7. Admittedly, many crop circles are astonishing as well as dramatic, but are they the watermarks of alien spaceships or superior extraterrestrial technology? All that's required to make a crop circle is a 2x4 and a rudimentary understanding of mathematics and geometry. Just as we were writing this chapter, a crop circle was discovered in New Jersey in the shape of a swastika. Somehow we doubt it was a message left to us from visitors from Alpha Centauri. The Conspiracism World Tour. Where conspiracy theories are concerned, there's nothing particularly weird about our own time when you take a look back at history. Consider, for example, these items from the early years of U.S. history. George Washington, a Freemason, was edgy about the possible infiltration of the Illuminati, see Chapter 11, during his presidency. Many people believe Thomas Jefferson was secretly a member of the Illuminati. After killing former Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton in a duel, Vice President Aaron Burr really did hatch a conspiracy to wrestle control of the Western territories away from the U.S., so he could be king of a new empire in the West. See Chapter 17. Economists and people nervous about financial dealings on a global scale have been shoveling grim and prophetic jeremiads about the privately owned Federal Reserve Bank since its very creation as being a hotbed of chicanery controlled by capitalist titans. The assassination of Abraham Lincoln, Chapter 5, resulted in a nationwide search for conspirators, both real and imagined, a lot of whom were hanged. But while there have been conspiracists throughout history, the 20th century seems to have been the biggest incubator for them. As we show you in the next sections, the 20th century was a particularly intense period that led to clammy hands over secret societies, cover-ups, and intrigues. The birth of 20th century U.S. conspiracism. During World War II, the U.S. government routinely hid secret missions and programs, along with military failures, as part of the war effort. It was vital to keep the national mood focused on winning, and the general belief of Americans was that government secrecy was a good thing. Loose lips sink ships. Secrecy was patriotic. The government and the military were supposed to be keeping secrets. After the war, the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?